The Liturgical Year of Dom Prosper Guéranger. April 26. Saints Cletus and Marcellinus, Popes and Martyrs. Two bright stars appear this day on the ecclesiastical cycle, proclaiming the glory of our Jesus, the conqueror of death. Again, they are two pontiffs and martyr pontiffs. Cletus leads us to the very commencement of the church, for he was a disciple of Peter and his second successor in the See of Rome. Marcellinus was a witness of the great persecution under Diocletian. He governed the church on the eve of her triumph. Let us honor these two fathers of Christendom who laid down their lives in its defense, and let us offer their merits to Jesus, who supported them by his grace and cheered them with the hope that one day they would share in his resurrection. The following is the account given of St. Cletus by the liturgy. Cletus, the son of Emilianus, was a Roman of the 5th region and of the patrician street. He governed the church during the reigns of the emperors Vespasian and Titus. Agreeably to the order given him by the Prince of the Apostles, he established 25 priests in the city. He was the first who, in his letters, used the words health and apostolic benediction. Having put the church into admirable order, and having governed it 12 years, 7 months, and 2 days, he was crowned with martyrdom under the Emperor Domitian in the second persecution following that of Nero, and was buried in the Vatican near the body of St. Peter. The life of St. Marcellinus is thus given in the breviary. Marcellinus, a Roman by birth, ruled over the church from the year 296 to the year 304 during the terrible persecution of Diocletian. He had much to suffer from the impious severity of those who reproached him with showing too much indulgence towards such as had relapsed into idolatry, whence ensued a calumnious report of his having offered incense to idols. But in truth, this blessed pontiff was beheaded for the confession of the faith, together with 3 other Christians, Claudius, Cyrenus, and Antoninus. Their bodies, by the governor's order, were left 36 days without burial, after which the blessed Marcellus, in consequence of his receiving, while asleep, an admonition from St. Peter, had them buried in the cemetery of Priscilla on the Salarian Way, at which burial were present many priests and deacons who, with torches in their hands, sang hymns in honor of the martyrs. Marcellinus governed the church 7 years, 11 months, and 23 days. During this period, he held 2 ordinations in December, at which 4 were made priests and 5 bishops for divers places. Pray for us, O holy pontiffs, and look with fatherly love upon the church on earth, which was so violently persecuted in your times, and at the present day is far from enjoying peace. The worship of idols is revived, and though they be not of stone or metal, yet they that adore them are as determined to propagate their worship as were the pagans of former days, to make all men idolaters. The gods and goddesses now in favor are called liberty, progress, and modern civilization. Every measure is resorted to in order to impose these new divinities upon the world. They that refuse to adore them are persecuted. Government are secularized, that is, unchristianized. The education of youth is made independent of all moral teaching. The religious element is rejected from social life as an intrusion. And all this is done with such a show of reasonableness that thousands of well-minded Christians are led to be its advocates. Timid perhaps, and partial, but still its advocates. Preserve us, O holy martyrs, from being the dupes of this artful impiety. It was not in vain that our Jesus suffered death and rose again from the grave. Surely after this, he deserves to be what he is, King of the whole earth, under whose power are all creatures. It is in order to obey him that we wish no other liberty save that which he has based upon the gospel. No other progress save that which results from the fulfillment of the duties of our fellow men, which he has established. It is he that created human nature and gave its laws. It is he that redeemed it and restored to it its lost rights. Him alone then do we adore, O holy martyrs. Pray that we may never become the dupes or slaves of the theories of human pride, even if they that frame or uphold them should have power to make us suffer or die for our resistance.